Becoming a black warrior must be very hard, right? Luo Feng was curious and asked. I've read in the books that becoming a black warrior is just a legend. There seems to be some hope for the blood warrior. Of course. The tall blood god guard laughed loudly. Black warrior, that is the pride of our blood river continent. It takes countless years for one to be born. It's been a very long time since there has been one. After all, after absorbing blood river crystals, every additional crystal would increase the body's requirements by 10 times. And every person's body had a limit. Once it reached a certain point, even the killing intent of the ancient god ruins wouldn't have any effect on the human body. When that time comes, there'll really be no hope. Luo Feng was shocked. Limit? Right, he had only absorbed 2 crystals, and his body was still improving under the killing aura. However, the body still had its limits. When that time comes, no matter how long he stayed in the ancient god ruins, it would be useless. Let's hope my body can take it longer. Luo Feng thought. Come, 97. Let me introduce you. The tall blood god guard walked towards the others. I'm the captain of the blood god guards, number 1. You can call me captain from now on. This is number 2, the vice captain. 97. 97, how do you do? The bronze-armored warriors walked over to greet Luo Feng, because they were all clear that the blood god guards were the most important and personal guards of the blood god Baki. They were his arms. In the future, this group would live and die together. Hence they had to get to know each other and get to know each other. After all, they would be life and death brothers. 97, you're the youngest. So young. Haha, 73, don't look down on 97. This 97 is the only one among us that was accepted as a cloud level. You bunch of fellows, 97 killed a blood devil, you know? According to the levels of the outsiders, that was a domain lord level 1 blood demon. The blood god guard captain number 1 laughed loudly. The energy difference was 10 times. That blood demon too had stepped through the gateway of the origin laws. However, 97 still won so easily. In terms of origin law comprehension, most of us can't even compare to 97. Immediately the group of blood god guards looked shocked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng was shocked within. First, he was shocked that this captain knew about the first stage of the domain lord realm. Second, he knew that he had won in a clean manner, and that the blood demon had stepped into the threshold of the laws. That lord didn't go into detail at all. Looks like my battles before were all observed by him. Luo Feng thought, that's right, him and the vice leader and that blood god Baki. These 3 were all at the realm lord level. Sector lords are able to use world energy. World energy is mysterious and unfathomable. It's normal that my earth body couldn't discover it. 97. Captain IE looked at Luo Feng. From now on, we are all life and death brothers, we are all part of the blood god guards. Luo Feng nodded. Ah, come follow me. Captain IE looked at the others. All of you return to your respective places. Do whatever you need to do. Yes, Captain. Understood, Captain. Xiaomomo, I'm back to chat with you. As the group of bronze figures spoke, they turned into streams of light and flew in all directions. Captain IE led Luo Feng to the bottom of the huge pit, saying as he walked, the ancient god ruins is the most ancient and mysterious place of Blood River Continent. Back then, the ancient warriors of Blood River Continent used this place to defend against the invasions of the alien races. The strength of the alien races is something you can't even imagine. Ah. Luo Feng was shocked. Just how strong are the alien races? I don't know either. IE shook his head. Anyway, they're terrifyingly strong. Think about it, back then many undyings fell in the ancient god ruins. You'll know how tragic the battles were. Let's not talk about the alien races. Let me remind you now, the ancient god ruins. Don't wander around the ancient god ruins alone. IE said solemnly, my lord is currently cultivating in this palace at the bottom of the pit. We, the blood god guards, are responsible for protecting my lord and killing enemies for him. Since he's training, naturally we'll follow and train in the ancient god ruins. Training in the ancient god ruins was a good thing. However, there are many dangerous places in the ancient god ruins. This huge pit is just one of them. IE pointed at the sky. Above, in the center of this huge pit, there's an aura whirlpool. The aura within the whirlpool is terrifyingly strong. The killing aura there is simply unbearable. It's too terrifying. Whirlpool? Luo Feng was even more curious. In truth, he had already scanned it before. At the bottom and the top, the aura is already very thick. IE exclaimed. However, the closer you get to the whirlpool, the thicker it gets. It said, at the core the density is close to 10 times that of the bottom. Close to 10 times? Luo Feng was truly shocked. Before, he had reached the 8 times region and could already see the whirlpool core with his naked eye. However, he didn't dare continue. IE emphasized. It's extremely dangerous there. Even with my willpower, I can only reach the 5 times region at most. It said, our lord can reach the 7 times region. 7 times. Luo Feng thought. He was still weaker than himself. To be able to reach 7 times, that blood god Baki, to be able to be called the genius of Blood River Continent in 1 trillion years, it was indeed true. After all, in terms of willpower, he was much stronger than many sector lord pinnacle warriors. Hence, you have to be careful. IE emphasized. The moment you rush in, you'll be invaded by the killing aura willpower, you'll become like the blood demon you killed before. This huge pit is one of the most dangerous places in the ancient god ruins. There are millions of such places in the ruins. They're all incomparably dangerous. There where the killing aura gathers. I.e. exclaimed. There are also some dangerous places that probably haven't been discovered in countless years. Anyway, recklessly entering will be disastrous. There were millions of such places? Follow me to the palace. I.e. became a beam of light. Luo Feng followed. Luo Feng looked at the red aura palace. It was about 1 kilometer long and wide with a total of 7 levels. Enter. I.e. entered the palace and Luo Feng followed. Very quickly they reached the 2nd level. Ah. Luo Feng's ears twitched. He looked at the distant room. That room's door was open and a weak roar resounded from within. I.e. looked at Luo Feng and explained, that's where the blood demons are raised. Ah. Luo Feng nodded. The blood demon was a martial artist who had gone mad. Our blood god guards live on the 3rd level. After Captain Ai came to the 3rd floor, he walked along the corridor and pointed to both sides of the corridor that was more than 10 meters wide. Every room on the side has a code number from 1 to 200. Right now, the first 96 are occupied, and your room is 97. Palace level 3 room 97. The door automatically opened. D. A green light shone on Luo Feng who had just entered the room. This is. Luo Feng was shocked. No need to be shocked, this is the quantum computer that manages the entire palace. Ai smiled. These quantum computers are from the ancient god ruins battle back then. They acquired some technology from the outsiders. However, manufacturing quantum computers is extremely difficult. Even in the Undying Shrine, only the upper echelons have them. Ah. Luo Feng had an envious expression. Quantum computers? There were many of them in the universe, one could buy as much as they wanted. His was an AI life form that was countless times higher. Room 97 was 20 m tall and 30 m wide. This is one of your origin power battle suits. I.E. pointed at a pile of items on the floor. This type of genetic energy armor, when worn, will vary according to your genetic energy level. At the same time, it can change according to your will, sealing off all vital points. Even if it breaks, it can swiftly repair. It's a very advanced armor. In Blood River Continent, only a few have them. Luo Feng stared at the bronze armor. That's a communication device. I.E. pointed at a wrist guard beside. Wearing it, you can communicate with the other blood god guards and also with the Lord. At the same time, the Lord will know where you are through the communication device. Luo Feng's heart skipped a beat. Communication device? Surveillance device. The Lord has orders, if there's a blood god guard without the Lord's orders, to be more than 100,000 kilometers away from him. Betraying him is a death sentence. I.E. stared at Luo Feng and emphasized. You must remember, the moment you betray the Lord with his position in the Undying Shrine, you will have nowhere to run in Blood River Continent. Understood. Luo Feng nodded. Dong. Luo Feng felt the floor of the palace tremble. Dong. Sounds of trembling resounded. It was a very heavy sound, almost like a giant was approaching the room step by step. Huh. Captain Ai was startled and hurriedly left the room. Luo Feng too followed him out of the room and into the corridor. With a glance, he saw that ahead of the 10 m wide corridor, there was a 12 m tall, 20 m long 4-hooved beast. At first glance, it looked similar to the cow-type life forms on Earth. Its entire body was muscled like steel, and the 2 curved horns on its head were charging forward. Its hooves that were as thick as a water tank were thick and powerful. Its entire body was bronze in color and its eyes were blood red. The strangest thing was its horns, they were so sharp it made one's heart palpitate. Just by walking along the corridor, the horns tore through the air and caused tremors. Lord Qi Niu. Ai bowed. This 4-story tall wild beast Qi Niu gazed at Luo Feng, a ferocious aura emanating from it. He's the new 97? Yes, Lord Qi Niu. Ai said, simultaneously communicating to Luo Feng. 97 This wild beast Qi Niu, in terms of strength he's even stronger than the Lord. His position in the Undying Shrine is very high too. He's like a brother to the Lord. Wild beasts had very low positions on Blood River Continent. Some were tamed as mounts, others were killed and harvested. Anyway, the wild beasts were always suppressed by the humans. A wild beast Qi Niu actually has such a high position in the Undying Shrine? Even if it's strong, it's after all not undying. To have such a high position in the Undying Shrine, that's unbelievable. The Undying Shrine, that's the highest authority of Blood River Continent. Luo Feng was shocked within, simultaneously bowing respectfully to the wild beast Qi Niu in the corridor. Lord Qi Niu. The wild beast Qi Niu stood in the corridor looking down at the little guy before him. A hot energy spat out from Qi Niu's nostrils, almost like 2 waves of heat. Its blood-red eyes stared at Luo Feng. Rumble. In an instant, it was as though the land and skies were collapsing. A formless pressure immediately affected Luo Feng's soul, almost like a heavy hammer smashing into his soul. Luo Feng couldn't help but snort softly, sweat beaded on his forehead. However, he endured it and stood there, his back straight, obviously unwilling to yield. Lord Qi Niu. Captain A1 shouted, 97 is still cloud level. A low voice resounded from Qi Niu's nostrils, following which the pressure finally vanished. This 97 not bad. Qi Niu's rumbling voice resounded. I think it can withstand strong killing aura too. Here are 2 blood river crystals. This is a gift from me Lord Qi Niu to you, absorb well after you're done, come find me for the 3rd. 2 prismatic crystals suddenly appeared in mid-air and floated towards Luo Feng. As they floated, the blood-red crystals were so beautiful it was mesmerizing. Blood river crystals? LuoFeng's eyes gleamed, extending his hand to receive the crystals. Hurry and thank Lord Qi Niu, the captain said. Thank you, Lord Qi Niu. LuoFeng bowed. Qi Niu spat out 2 streams of hot air from his nostrils. He snorted and then slowly stepped out with his thick hooves. When his hooves landed, Qi Niu was already at the far end of the corridor. Then he disappeared. This desolate beast Qi Niu has such a strong pressure and strength. The Blood God Guard captain said that the desolate beast Qi Niu is stronger than Blood God Baki. It should be true. LuoFeng watched as the wild beast Qi Niu vanished. Within, he was filled with glee as he looked at the blood river crystals in his hands. These 2 crystals should be the easiest to get. Before in Swallow Mound City, he had acquired 14 crystals, Rock Wind Xiong and his brother 3, Pure Feather Tao 1, the Undying Shrine Envoy 10. After which, he was ambushed by 4 geniuses from the Undying Shrine in the ancient god ruins. LuoFeng killed one of them and acquired a blood river crystal from him. A total of 15 crystals. Every single one of them was obtained through slaughter. Only the 2 in his hand. 97. As long as you can absorb it, Qi Niu can provide you with as many crystals as you want. Beside, the tall and majestic bronze-ranked fighter number 1 laughed. Right now, within our blood god guards, there are only 5 who have successfully absorbed 3 crystals and become blood warriors. I have high hopes for you. LuoFeng nodded, following which he asked curiously, these crystals, how many do you have? Of course not. The captain number 1 smiled and shook his head. The blood river crystals are the treasures of our blood river continent. However, the number of crystals each person can absorb is very, very few. Countless years on Blood River continent. It's been a long time since a black warrior has been able to absorb 10 crystals. Lord Qi Niu, just the amount of crystals provided to our blood god guards is naturally more than enough. LuoFeng nodded. Sounded like blood god Baki's power. The person in charge of collecting and distributing the crystals was actually that wild beast Qi Niu. You know everything. Number 1 nodded. Right now you can either train in your training room within the palace, or find a place outside to train alone. It's fine. You are here to be a guard, not a prisoner. However, the only requirement you should know, right? 100,000 kilometers without permission, you cannot stray 100,000 kilometers from the Lord. LuoFeng smiled. Very good. Number 1 nodded and left immediately. Palace Level 3 Training Room 97. LuoFeng wore the bronze armor and the wrist communicator, shaking his head. This communicator is really simple, a simple communication system and positioning system. In terms of technology, it's about the same as the communicator watches back on Earth. Blood God Baki, Wild Beast Qi Niu, 96 Blood God Guards. LuoFeng's mind swiftly went through many thoughts. According to the information I've gathered so far, Blood God Baki is a Sector Lord Pinnacle. Absorbing 8 crystals, he's an absolute genius that appears once in a trillion years in the Undying Shrine. His position is extremely high. Wild Beast Qi Niu, his strength is even stronger than Baki. He's a good brother with Baki. He should be the second most powerful person in this power. 96 Blood God Guards, all of them extremely talented, formed from 2 Sector Lords and 94 Domain Lords. Right now in the ancient god ruins, the main reason is because Blood God Baki is training. LuoFeng instantly understood why he hadn't found any practitioners at the bottom of the pit during the 2 years he had been in the residence of the huge pit. It was because Blood God Baki was training in seclusion, and the other Blood God Guards didn't dare to wander around. From the looks of it. Even though I've become a Blood God Guard from now on, it should be easier. LuoFeng was dressed in bronze armor and boots. Just as he was about to walk out, suddenly 5 silhouettes walked in. 97. These 5 were all dressed in bronze armor. They were all tall and skinny Blood God Guards, all smiling and waving. 12, 19, 33, 78, 83. LuoFeng shouted with familiarity. We were in the training room just now and noticed Lord Qi Niu coming over. The skinny youth like 12 smiled. According to the old rules, Lord Qi Niu should have given you 2 crystals, right? LuoFeng nodded. 97. Have you absorbed any crystals before? Beside, the extremely fat and sturdy 19 asked loudly. I've absorbed 1. LuoFeng said. These 5 guards chatted casually with LuoFeng. LuoFeng also made up his story. The group chatted for a while and after half an hour the 5 were prepared to leave. Before leaving, 12 reminded seriously, 97 remember when you meet Qi Niu, you have to respectfully call him Lord Qi Niu. Right, you can't be disrespectful. Whoever dares to be disrespectful, Lord Qi Niu will be enraged. The handsome 83 said. LuoFeng asked curiously, I actually don't understand, how can Qi Niu's strength be stronger than Lord Blood God? Haha. Wild beasts are split into 4 grades. A grade 1 wild beast is only Earth level, a grade 2 wild beast is Sky level, a grade 3 wild beast is Cloud level, and a grade 4 wild beast is Domain level. 12 said quickly and straightforwardly, and the wild beast Qi Niu is a level 4 beast, it naturally has the gold domain. The higher the grade, the stronger the bloodline, the more outstanding the body. You should know. This blood river crystal, as long as it's a blood and flesh type life form, it can use it. Not just as humans, these wild beasts too, can absorb the crystal. 12 smiled. LuoFeng felt as though his mind was struck by lightning. Flesh and blood life forms could use it? Haha 97, you don't seem to know. 97. The 83 Blood God Guard exclaimed, compared to humans their bodies are stronger and more outstanding. Wild beasts have stronger and more outstanding bodies. Usually they can absorb crystals that surpass us humans. And according to the Undying Shrine's experience, beasts that specialize in the gold element have an advantage in absorbing the crystals. Qi Niu is the highest level beast, a level 4 beast, and it specializes in the gold element. Hence, every Qi Niu can absorb at least 3 crystals. And some of the more outstanding Qi Niu could even absorb 10 crystals. 83 exclaimed, our Lord Qi Niu has absorbed 12 crystals. Plus he is at the pinnacle of the sector Lord realm, hence he has terrifying strength. Luo Feng stood there stunned. Silence. 97? 97 what's wrong? The other 5 shouted. Ah. Luo Feng awoke exclaiming, I'm too shocked. From the books I've read, there hasn't been a black warrior in countless years. They've already become a legend. I didn't expect Lord Qi Niu to actually absorb 12 crystals. Humans and wild beasts are different. Jealousy can't do anything about it. Luckily there are very few level 4 beasts. The 5 exclaimed. Hm right? Luo Feng agreed from the side. Finally the 5 were about to leave. When the 5 left, only Luo Feng was left in the training room. Luo Feng slammed the door shut, his face filled with glee. My God. I'm such an idiot, such an idiot. I didn't even think of this. Luo Feng's expression was filled with glee. Clenching his fists he roared madly within, flesh and blood life forms can absorb the crystals, flesh and blood life forms. Right, the crystals use blood as a medium to change the body's genes. Humans are flesh and blood life forms. The golden horned beast too. Luo Feng was extremely excited. My earth body has a hard time absorbing the crystals. However, what about the golden horned beast? As they said before, the higher the level, the more outstanding the body's genes are, and the easier it is to absorb. Especially those that specialize in the gold element. Even though I don't know why being proficient in the gold element gives one an advantage in absorbing the crystals. However, the golden horned beast, this is the pinnacle of bloodline in the universe. When it matures it's a sector lord pinnacle. It's born with 3 natural talents and is most proficient in the gold element. It's the darling of the universe gold laws. Luo Feng was extremely excited. Compared to the golden horned beast, that Qi Niu is just trash. Even the wild beast Qi Niu could absorb 12 crystals. How many can my golden horned beast absorb? Luo Feng couldn't suppress the glee within. He had a feeling that the golden horned beast was originally his strongest killer move. However, absorbing the crystals, it might bring a new change to the already incomparably strong golden horned beast. 3rd level of the palace. Luo Feng, who was wearing the bronze battle uniform, swiftly left the training room and quickly exited the main entrance of the palace. To the huge pit quarters. Luo Feng looked up at the sky, the red aura emanated and he rushed into the sky. So, the huge pit was extremely deep. Luo Feng continued to fly upwards. 97. 2 voices resounded in Luo Feng's mind, causing him to stop and float in mid-air. To be able to detect him without him noticing, other than Baki and Qi Niu within the palace, only the 2 captains of the Blood God Guards would be able to do so. Luo Feng surveyed his surroundings and floated in mid-air, saying respectfully, Captain, Vice Captain. 97 Where are you preparing to train? A thick voice resounded in the space around Luo Feng. Captains, the past 2 years I've been training in a cave above the mountain. Luo Feng explained, hence I'm preparing to train there. 97 This high-altitude region is for me and number 2 to monitor. The voice continued, it's safer for you to train below. Of course. The Lord has orders not to go beyond 100,000 kilometers. You can go to your cave, however we won't be able to monitor and protect your safety there. The 2 captains of the Blood God Guards were both sector lords. The 2 of them released their world energy to scan their surroundings. While training they had to scan their surroundings. However, the range was limited. The moment there's any danger, I'll immediately come down. Luo Feng said respectfully. Since you insist, then go. Yes. Luo Feng bowed respectfully and immediately rushed into the sky. Deep in the huge pit, on a platform beside the mountain, a tall bronze silhouette sat crossed-legged and communicated, this 97's talent is indeed very high, the Lord values him highly. However, the most important thing in becoming a Blood God Guard is loyalty. Number 2, from what I can feel, this 97 hasn't completely submitted to the Lord. Number 1. A voice resounded from the other end of the huge pit close to 10,000 kilometers away from the platform. Geniuses are always full of confidence. To make him completely submit isn't easy. He only submitted under the Lord's coercion. We'll watch for now. The time the Lord spends training here is the time to observe him. If he has other thoughts, it won't be too late to kill him. Yes, you're right. We'll kill them after we find sufficient evidence. The 2 sector lords were separated by tens of thousands of kilometers. They transmitted their voices to each other and made a decision. Even though the Blood God Guards treated Luo Feng quite well, the Blood God Guards were Blood God Baki's most important guards. Loyalty and strength were both indispensable. And Luo Feng obviously hadn't gained the true recognition of the guards, especially the 2 sector lords. They had special privileges. The right to supervise and punish other Blood God Guards. In the ancient god ruins in the residence of the huge pit, a green light flowed through the hole and formed. It was Luo Feng dressed in a bronze armor. Luo Feng was filled with excitement as he sat on the stone chair. This communication bracelet is also monitoring me. Luo Feng lowered his head to look at the wrist guard. Over 100,000 kilometers or removing the wrist guard would attract the blood god's attention. However, since there's no danger and there are benefits, there's no need for me to leave. Just be a blood god guard for the time being. Luo Feng smiled and flipped his hand. A space ring and a black stone appeared in his palm. The black stone was formed by the Masha clansmen, and within the space ring were 15 blood river crystals. He had acquired 14 in Swallow Mound City, killing the undying shrine genius gave him 1, and the wild beast Qi Niu gave him 2 before. And his earth body had already absorbed 2. He was left with 15. Let's begin. Luo Feng muttered within. Shwa. The moment the black stone touched the space ring, it immediately vanished from his palm and entered his internal world. Internal world. The skies were shrouded in endless golden mist. On this vast continent it was all gold. Only one continuous mountain range was black, and this black mountain range was at least 10 kilometers long. The black stone appeared beside the black mountain range, following which it transformed into a black-clothed Luo Feng. In his palm was a ring. It was the one with the 15 blood river crystals. Right now in the internal world, only LuoFeng's 3 bodies items wouldn't be destroyed. And all other life forms, non-life forms, would all be destroyed. Whether it was swallowing life forms or other materials, they would all be destroyed. If it was too much and he couldn't digest it, the internal world would explode. 15 blood river crystals. What a mysterious blood river crystal. It's a pity only flesh and blood life forms can absorb it. Masha Luo Feng looked at the space ring on his hand. The Masha clansman, I can't absorb it anymore. Rumble. The black mountain range beside suddenly moved. It stood up completely. This was a beast whose body length alone reached 60 kilometers. Its 4 claws, every one of them was at least 6 kilometers thick, and the thinnest part of the claws was at least 3 kilometers thick. It was simply like 4 heavenly pillars. Any one of its claws was even taller than the Himalayas. That cold dark golden eyes, every pupil was comparable to a large lake, almost like 2 dark golden suns staring below. Terrifying. Even I feel that the golden horned beast is terrifying. Masha Luo Feng looked up at the golden horned beast and muttered, there are large amounts of life forms in the universe, and every form is split into countless races. Amongst all the life forms, the golden horned beast is at the pinnacle. Just this body alone and its terrifying strength, pure brute force, it can easily kill human warriors 2 or 3 levels above. Along with its natural abilities. Right now it's also training deities of the world. Even if my Masha clansman meets the golden horned beast, he can only flee. Masha Luo Feng muttered. Compared to the golden horned beast, maybe he could assassinate the Masha clansman, but in a head-on battle, it was much weaker. The golden horned beast's innate powerful body and natural abilities made it incomparably powerful. Howl. That huge black mountain-like golden horned beast raised its head and let out a low roar. The roar shook the land and skies, after which it extended its right claw. Masha Luo Feng took out a blood river crystal and placed it on its claw. The golden horned beast's eyes were like 2 suns as it stared at the blood river crystal on its claws. Following which, sharp claws shot out from its claws. With a clench, those sharp claws slashed across the palm of its right hoof. Immediately, numerous black scales were sliced apart and fresh blood seeped out. The golden horned beast carefully used its spirit energy to control the crystal. The crystal gently moved over the wound. The wound was at least 10 m long, and as the crystal fell into the wound, a formless energy swiftly entered the golden horned beast's body. Rumble. Kill. The killing aura willpower rushed into its body. The golden horned beast's willpower was Luo Feng's willpower. It was condensed like a boulder, like a blade. This bit of killing aura willpower couldn't even shake it. Chi-chi, threads of blood energy flowed out of the crystal, flowing through the wound of the right claw and swiftly entering the depths of the golden horned beast's bones and muscles. Immediately the right claw began to transform. The scales and claws were constantly changing, even the bones and muscles within were changing. Everything was so familiar. In a short while everything ended. Absorbing the first crystal, success. What's going on? How can this be? His spirit energy carefully inspected every part of the golden horned beast's body. He was incredibly shocked. How can only the right claw have a change? The golden horned beast lowered its head too, its dark golden pupils carefully inspecting its right claw. It had just absorbed a blood river crystal, but it was completely different from a human absorbing a blood river crystal. The mysterious energy within the crystal only caused the golden horned beast's right claw to have some special changes. And the other parts of the golden horned beast's body, like its torso, wings, other 3 claws, tail, head, they all didn't change at all. Damn, it can't be. Don't tell me. Standing beside the golden horned beast, Masha Luo Feng looked at the huge mountain-like golden horned beast. His eyes gleamed. Don't tell me it's because its body is too big? A bucket of water is enough for one person to bathe. However, a lake's water is only enough for the golden horned beast to bathe. I think that's the theory. The golden horned beast's body is too big, its bones, muscles, cells etc. are too many. To make all the bones, muscles and skin change, the amount of crystal energy required is huge. That's one crystal can only cover the right claw. It can't even reach the elbow. Luo Feng guessed. The golden horned beast waved its right claw, activating the blood river energy within. A simple blood red engraving appeared on the right claw, its control over the universe energy became even clearer. Qi. With a swipe of the claw, the ground was immediately torn apart, creating a 10 kilometers long ravine. It's indeed easier. This claw's power has increased by 20 to 30%. Since that's the case, if I absorb the other claws below, I think the other claws or tail will only increase by 20 to 30%. Since that's the case, why not make the strong even stronger? Luo Feng immediately made his decision. Continue absorbing the second crystal. Make the strong stronger. Make the advantage even greater. Black-clothed Luo Feng placed the crystal in the palm of the golden horned beast's right claw. The golden horned beast's incomparably huge dark golden eyes stared hard at the palm, after which it once again used its claws to cut through the scales. The scales were cut and fresh blood seeped out, once again touching the crystal. Everything was as Luo Feng had expected. After the killing aura willpower attack was resisted, the blood threads of mysterious energy poured into the right claw, immediately starting to deeply change the bones, muscles and scales of the right claw. The range of these changes was exactly the same as the first time the crystal's energy spread. Just the right claw, it didn't even reach the elbow area. When all the changes were over, the golden horned beast once again activated the mysterious energy in the right claw, simultaneously waving its right claw. Right claw, compared to before the absorption, its power has increased by about 50%. It's exactly the same as before when a human absorbed the crystal. The only difference is, when a human absorbs the crystal, it covers the entire body. And the golden horned beast only changed its right claw. Continue. Absorb the third crystal. Absorbing the third to be called a blood warrior, there should be some special changes. Luo Feng anticipated. The third crystal rested on the scales of the right claw. As the black scales were sliced open by the sharp claws, fresh blood flowed through the crystal and once again the absorption began. The golden horned beast's huge head looked down at its right claw, looking at it expectantly. The pain caused by the huge change in the right claw, with the golden horned beast's biological characteristics, it could completely control the range of the pain. In a short while, the third crystal completely disappeared, merging into the right claw. Activate. The golden horned beast activated the mysterious energy hidden within its right claw. Immediately a blood-red engraving appeared on the scales of its claw. When it absorbed the first crystal, the engravings were very simple and sparse. When it absorbed the second, it was more complicated and the range was doubled. Right now it had already absorbed 3, and the engravings on the scales had increased by a lot. And these engravings seemed to form a whole. It was perfect. Rumble. The right claw fiercely waved in mid-air, activating the universe gold origin laws. With a swipe, a formless energy rippled out. The terrifying shockwave immediately caused the distant mountain range to explode, large amounts of metal pieces flying everywhere. Compared to before, my senses have doubled. My compatibility with the universe origin laws has also doubled. The golden horned beast couldn't help but raise its head and roar. The Masha clansman, even though his comprehension was low, the power he could unleash was very strong. The golden horned beast, however, didn't have such ability. The reason the golden horned beast's attacks were strong was because of its natural abilities, naturally strong body and deities of the world, etc. And while it may have had some advantage in comprehension, during battle, it was unable to unleash the origin laws that far exceeded its comprehension. And now, its comprehension of the gold origin laws and the other origin laws had doubled. Even its power during battle had doubled. Even though it can't compare to the Masha clansman's 10 times increase, it's still intrepid. Comprehension has doubled, power has doubled. Luo Feng was excited. After absorbing 3 crystals, one would become a blood warrior. A blood warrior's comprehension was twice as high as a normal person's, and their power during battle would double. I'll continue absorbing the 4th. The blood river crystal's functions were simply too heavenly. As one's comprehension increased, so did one's power. Even though each crystal didn't increase by much, when accumulated, it was still a ridiculous amount. One must know that the Masha clansmen and other special races in the universe were all special abilities of those races. The golden horned beast walked the path of violence. The Masha clan's doppelganger specialized in spatial assassination. As for the blood river crystal, it could raise one's comprehension of the origin laws, making one feel like a fish in water. I really don't know how these crystals are formed. The golden horned beast continued to absorb the 4th crystal, still on its right claw. This time, when it activated the mysterious energy in its right claw, the blood-red engravings on its right claw increased by a little. However, this time its comprehension level was slightly higher, and its power was slightly higher too. The improvement was not obvious, and it was far less obvious than when he fused with the first 3. Let's continue with the 5th one. After fusing with the 5th one, once he activated that mystical power, the blood-red mysterious patterns on his right claw became even more complicated. His compatibility with the origin of the universe and his ability to use it all improved. The 6th one. The 7th one. The 8th one. Luckily I have enough blood river crystals. That undying shrine envoy gave me 10, otherwise the golden horned beast wouldn't even be able to absorb 10. Black-clothed Luo Feng stood at the side, watching as the incomparably huge golden horned beast began to absorb the 10th crystal. Absorbing 10 crystals, if it was a human, that would be a black warrior. Black warriors were a legend in Blood River continent. They belonged to the pinnacle of humans absorbing crystals. I wonder what will happen when the golden horned beast absorbs 10 crystals. Let's begin. The golden horned beast's sharp claws slashed across the scales on its right claw. The scales were cut and the 10th incomparably beautiful crystal laid on its palm. It was immediately controlled by spirit energy to land on the wound. The moment the blood and the crystal touched, the absorption began and an even crazier killing aura willpower was produced. The killing aura willpower from absorbing 10 crystals is very ordinary, it doesn't affect me at all. It's far from being able to compare with the killing aura whirlpool willpower. The changes to my bones and muscles, even though it's very painful now, I'm still enduring it. Ah. The golden horned beast let out an incomparably painful cry. Ow. The howl shook the skies. Damn. Black-clothed Luo Feng was in so much pain that he knelt down on one knee. Within the huge pit quarters, the earth body Luo Feng too clenched his fists and smashed the ground. The pain caused sweat to drip from his forehead as he gritted his teeth. It's too painful. It's simply. The pain from the right claw immediately affected the core soul. The three great bodies shared the same soul. As the golden horned beast howled in pain, the Masha clansman and earth body too felt excruciating pain. This pain had already surpassed the physical level, even the willpower of the soul couldn't control the pain. It went straight into the soul. Howl. Howl? The golden horned beast was the direct recipient, so the pain was the most intense. Its entire body couldn't help but madly fly up from the metal continent, crashing and colliding. Many golden mountain ranges were smashed apart, and on the ground, there were many 10 kilometers deep ravines. While the golden horned beast was in incomparable pain, the scales on its right claw became a faint gold color. The scales seemed to have become thinner, and its claws too became a faint gold color. That battle blade-like claws had incomparably small engravings on its edges. Chi. The scales returned to black, the claws too returned to normal, and the pain slowly dissipated. Who? Black-clothed Luo Feng stood up. Within the huge pit quarters, Luo Feng too let out a long sigh of relief. The golden horned beast too laid on the ground for a while before it recovered. I knew absorbing the 10 crystals would be special, but the pain was so intense. Luo Feng was speechless. For a person with a weak willpower, just this pain would probably cause his soul to scatter and die. The golden horned beast stood up with a rumble, waving its right hoof that was like a heavenly pillar, at the same time activating the mystical energy hidden within its claws. The moment the mystical energy was activated, the scales on the surface of the golden horned beast's right claw immediately underwent a huge change. The scales, bones, muscles, sharp claws, etc. were all rapidly changing. This was the most basic change in the composition of its body. This change on the outside was that the scales on its right claw became thinner, becoming a faint gold color. The muscles also became slightly thicker, the veins within all became a faint gold color, and the right claw's sharpest claws also became a faint gold battle blade-like claws. The sharp claws even had engravings that the naked eye couldn't see clearly. Simultaneously, the entire right claw had blood-red engravings on it, incomparably complex yet perfect blood-red engravings, forming a perfect body. This. Black-clothed Luo Feng and his body were both shocked. The golden horned beast lowered its head to look at its right claw. It could clearly feel the unbelievable power within it, after which it fiercely waved its claw. The reaction to the universe origin energy, the usage of the origin laws, they're all 3 times stronger than before the absorption. Luo Feng's consciousness could clearly feel the huge change in the golden horned beast's right claw. This was still within my imagination. However, right now this right claw itself, its basic composition has changed. Normal carbon was formed from carbon atoms. Diamond was also formed from carbon atoms. As the composition changed, the power it displayed would also change. And after absorbing the 10 blood river crystals, that mysterious energy seemed to have undergone a transformation, containing some sort of special effect. It actually changed the composition of the right claw. Not only did it change internally, even the scales on the outside became a faint gold color. What a strong power. This right claw's power, it's already comparable to the golden horned beast's total power before the transformation. The golden horned beast gently waved its right claw, causing the air to tremble every time. How huge was the golden horned beast's body? Its power mainly came from its huge body, its tail that was about the same length as its body, those incomparably huge scaled wings, and its 4 claws. And right now, just the power of its right claw alone was comparable to the strength of its entire body before. What kind of concept was that? The innate talent secret art, enhance, can double my strength. And the right claw contains all the strength of my entire body before. If I can perfectly control my entire body's strength with a wave of my claw, wouldn't it be equivalent to double my strength before the transformation? The transformation of the right claw, in terms of strength, is equivalent to a natural talent strengthening. Luo Feng was shocked. Blood River Crystal. The peculiar and terrifying Blood River Crystal, not only did it affect the universe origin laws, it even caused the basic composition of the body to transform. Actually, during the first absorption, Luo Feng felt that the crystal's energy could change his body's genes, allowing him to instantly become a beast man, a scaled man, or even, however, that was only during the absorption process. The moment it ended, everything would return to normal. Even though Luo Feng had always suspected that the crystal had other abilities, he hadn't discovered anything. After absorbing 3 crystals, he still hadn't discovered anything. After absorbing 10 crystals, Luo Feng discovered a terrifying ability. The golden horned beast's right claw itself has to be strengthened by at least 10 times before it can match the strength of its entire body. Luo Feng exclaimed within. Accepting the Blood River World mission this time was the right decision. After absorbing 10 crystals, the golden horned beast's forte, its body strength, had doubled. His comprehension of the laws and his ability to unleash them had tripled. Its overall strength had indeed risen by a lot. Continue absorbing. That wild beast Qi Niu could absorb 12 crystals. My golden horned beast should be able to absorb even more. Luo Feng was extremely excited. The golden horned beast raised its head and let out an excited roar, after which it continued absorbing the crystals. The 11th crystal. The pain was indeed very strong, however it was obviously weaker than the insane pain from absorbing the 10th crystal. After successfully absorbing the 11th crystal, indeed, his comprehension of the universe origin laws and his ability to unleash his origin laws had slightly increased. 12th crystal. 13th crystal. 14th crystal. 15th crystal. No more. No more, there's no more crystals. I've absorbed them all. I want more crystals. I want more crystals, the more the better. The golden horned beast raised its head and roared. The black-clothed Luo Feng too gripped his fists tightly. Outside in the huge pit quarters, Luo Feng suddenly stood up and frowned. Blood river crystals, large amounts of blood river crystals, where will I get them from?